Hello, everybody. This is Arkansas Minuteman 0864. Today, I'm going to do part two of what I'm calling the Prepper's Library. This is books that I have and I've collected over the years, and I've got them on hand to use for references. And when I get rusty on skills that if you don't use them, you lose them, these are the books that I go back to, and things like map reading and that kind of stuff. So, without any further ado, let's get into it and see what kind of books we have out here. One disclaimer though, some of these books have got things in them that if you go actually do them, then you're going to be violating about every law known to man. This channel, nor myself, condones uh, any breaking of any laws, whether you agree with them or not. Just because you don't agree with them, don't mean that gives you the authority or right to go break them. So don't do it. Don't go out there and break no laws. And for God's sake, don't go out there and say, well, Arkansas Minuteman said I could. Because I'm saying right now, Arkansas Minuteman says he does not condone you do it. He's not telling you to do it. And unfortunately, I will be your worst witness at your trial when you get up there. And I will be bringing copies of these videos where I put that disclaimer in those videos. So be the smart, cool cat and don't do it. So let's get started. Okay, books that we're looking at today in the survival series. We've got the Wilderness Long-Term Survival Guide here by Nicole Apelian, PhD. We've got the SAS Survival Guide by John Lochte Wiseman, more commonly referred to as the grandfather of survival. We also have a civilian version of the military manual, Survival Handbook by Peter Darman. We have a consolidated manual, civilian type, that takes a bunch of military manuals from different branches, consolidates them all down into one. And this is Survival Skills, Tactics, and Techniques. And then we have one, Nuclear War Survival Skills. This one we'll get into detail a little bit because people have been asking about it. Wilderness Long-Term Survival is more of a civilian type book. It goes into more of your basic survival techniques and whatnot. And getting all screwed up here. It goes into certain stuff such as how to tie knots, how to set snares, how to build fires, how to split wood, what wood is best for fires, different ways of starting a fire, how to collect water, improving your shelter, building a shelter. All this is all good stuff. Stuff that everybody needs to learn how to do. Because you may find yourself in a situation where you have to go back to Mother Nature and do it the old-timey way. I've already done a book on the SAS survival. I think I briefly talked about it, at least in another one. Lofty Wiseman, he was a British, I want to say SAS. Shout out to Tom Blakely, the Prepared Pathfinder. Tom, if I'm wrong about that, please let me know. But it goes into Arctic fishing, if you're in the Arctic, how to fish, how to make nets, how to build shelters, how to handle a kill after you kill like a deer, how to make slingshots and other different weapons, bird traps, squirrel traps, rat traps, you name it. Edible plants and everything. Now, on edible plants, let me put in here right quick. I do not suggest you go grab this book and then you go out in the woods and you start grabbing plants you think is edible and you eat them, because a lot of these plants, especially mushrooms, have almost identical ones that are poisonous versus the non-poisonous type. My advice to you is go find a wilderness survival class that you can take, that somebody who has been doing this for a very long time can show you exactly what is edible, what is not edible, and what the differences are between the two of them. This is one of those skills that hands-on learning is going to be your best friend, and you need to do this hands-on. It also teaches you some about tracking, how to identify different tracks, finding game, plants. So right here, plants to avoid. You can read this, but still go find an actual class with somebody that will take you out in the woods and show you what all you need. This has got, you name it, this is like a one-stop shop for all survival stuff in it. It also tells you some of the things you need to carry with you, how to build a survival kit, what needs to be in it, and all that. The next book is a civilian consolidated based upon the military manual. It again goes into edible plants, plants to avoid. It identifies some snakes, tropical regions, arid regions, Arctic regions. It's all in here also. But in my opinion, after looking through this one and looking through the SAS one is a hell of a lot better of a survival manual. It shows you how to land nav, how to tell about what time it is using a sun clock, how to determine which direction is which, have some basic first aid stuff, all this kind of stuff. And first aid, again, that's something we all need. And I would highly suggest that you go out and you find a basic and advanced first aid course through the American Red Cross or somebody like that. You might be able to get it through a local fire department or volunteer fire department. You can always start there. The next one is survival skills, tactics, techniques. It's going to go over the same stuff as the previous books have, but this goes into like different skills, hand-to-hand combat skills. It goes out further. Combat techniques, how to make like a stone tomahawk, how to make field expedient weapons, tools, and equipment, different types of fires, how to build fires, how to start fires. Again, it goes into edible and non-edible plants. Again, I stress, go find you a course. It goes into fish, types of fish and whatnot to avoid. It goes into spiders and insects you need to avoid. A lot of good stuff in here. And on survival books, you need to get several of them because there's always something in one that's not in the others. So it even tells you if you get caught in a chemical attack, which you're pretty much doomed because you're not going to have access to atropine and 2-PAM chloride injectors to counter any nerve agent. So you're pretty well doomed on that one. Going joke is if you run out of atropine and 2-PAM chloride, breathe deep a couple of times, it'll end quick. For first aid for climatic injuries, heat stroke, heat exhaustion, hypothermia, and such. A lot of good information. The last one here is nuclear war survival skills. This one, it goes into all kinds of stuff. How to determine how to build fallout shelter, explains the half-life of radiation, different types, gives you a good idea of how much earth and different materials, depending on what you're building your shelter out of, how thick it has to be to stop radiation of the various types. With gamma being the worst one, it goes through a lot of stuff, short of about, even with gamma radiation, if I remember correctly, you need anywhere from 18 inches to almost 3 foot of even pure lead to stop it cold. But a lot of good information in here also. So if you're into nuclear survival, this is a book you want to look up. And this one is by Crescent H. Kearney and a foreword by Dr. Edward Teller, Nuclear War Survival Skills. So, with that being said, this ends this section of this video. Okay, everybody. Let's see. Are we working here? Yep, look like we're working. All right, the next three books is on counter guerrilla warfare and counter guerrilla warfare or unconventional warfare. One of the, as bad as I hate to say it is, one of the better ones was written by Che Guevara. He was kind of like the father of guerrilla warfare down in Central and South America, was trained by Castro himself, and was killed in conjunction with 6th Special Forces Group in about 66 to 68, I believe it was. But they were down in Central America working that area, and they were working with the local military that found him and killed him. He goes into the tactics and techniques that he pretty well perfected as a guerrilla leader and guerrilla fighter, organization, all kinds of stuff in there. A lot to be learned. I am a big believer in, if you go back and read history, you'll figure out what the future holds, because history does repeat itself. May not always be exact, but it does. But on this one, you got like dedication, general principles of guerrilla warfare, the guerrilla band organization, the guerrilla front, and then he goes into talking about guerrilla warfare method and something called the message to the Tricontinental. I need to reread this one again. It's been a while since I read it. Pretty good book if you want to learn about guerrilla warfare. The next book is U.S. Army Special Forces Guide to Unconventional Warfare. This goes into techniques, tactics. It also goes into booby traps, explosives, and whatnot. And those are highly illegal, and I do not recommend you go try them. You're a grown person. You can do what you want, but I will not take responsibility for you doing it. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not out here educating you in this. I'm just giving you some bedtime reading material. It's got a little bit of everything in here. I'm not doing a lot of detail on this. If you want to know, go find it. Just Google U.S. Army Special Forces Guide to Unconventional Warfare, and I'm sure you can find it. Another one that was written by the OSS during World War II is the Simple Sabotage Field Manual. And again, we're not going to cover too much in this, but this goes into the ways you can slow down potential invaders, enemies. Another good book if you like to read for research purposes only. And just Google this one, and you can find it out there also. So with that being said, because there's so much in the unconventional warfare world that can get you in trouble, and I'm not going out there on a limb to put myself on that limb for you to come back and say, well, you said I could do it. I'm saying no. I'm saying you can't do this. And if you do, you do it on your own will and not mine. I'm just putting this out here for information purposes only, for entertainment purposes, and maybe something that you might have to fall back onto in the future if something happens, and that something is what we're all praying to the good Lord above will never happen. So with that being said, we're going to conclude this section of the video and get the next section set up and ready to go. Okay, everybody, we're back for the next section. That is part 2 of the video of the Prepper's Library. And I got 3 books here. 2 kind of go hand in hand. The other one I just threw in there for additional bonus. We got the $50 and up underground house book. This gives you pretty much detailed plans on how to build different type underground structures and whatnot at a very reasonable cost. I found this one to be very interesting, and you might find it to be very interesting also. And one just might show up around here on my property somewhere here pretty soon. So check this one out. It gives you some good ideas on designs and how to build it and all that kind of stuff. This is actually photographs of and that actual building. He dug it, looks like, into the side of a hill. Now, the good thing about being underground or partially underground is that your temperature in the house will go and stay pretty constant all the time. I have mentioned the next book in a video before, Navy SEAL's Buggy Guide, or did I put that in my Discord article? It might have been my Discord article. Y'all need to go join Discord and find me out there, because a lot of this stuff you'll find out there also. And this is how to turn your house into the safest place on earth. This guy's former SEAL, and he has come in here and he has talked about how to take your house and make it look like it's already been gone through and trashed and everything else. He gives you recipes for several weeks at a time, 3-month supply of food. He gives you the recipes so you can buy the recipe and stockpile it. Then if you follow the recipes, you're good to go. He's got a lot of good information in here. He talks about how to set up different alarms around your place, how to build a greenhouse, how to do a do-it-yourself gray water system, underground mini root cellar, how to build an electric-free fridge at a backyard well. I mean, he goes into a lot. How to avoid closed-circuit TV from tracking you, how to hide from thermal invasion, foolproof offset, uh, ways to outfox FEMA in the next crisis, knots you need to know, where to take shelter in a nuclear strike, things you need to have on hand before everything happens, because once it happens, it's too late. Things you need for allergic reactions, medical items, stockpile, radios, you name it. He's covered a lot. Best defense handguns, how to put up security around your place, daily water storage mistakes. Another great book. You can go out there and Google that, a Navy SEAL's Bug-In Guide, and you can learn a lot of stuff. Now, the last one is Ultimate Book of Everyday Knowledge. This goes into common everyday knowledge that all of us should know, but we don't. And this is something, again, is a use it or lose it skill. If you don't tie these knots on a regular basis, you forget how to tie them, and then you're coming up on the short end of the stick. So if you look, and you need knots, especially in building shelters and all kinds of stuff. If you have to climb down the side of a cliff because you got no choice, you need to know how to tie knots to be able to do it safely. So another great book to have on hand. And it goes into detail showing you exactly how to tie each knot. So you can sit around at night when you're watching football games and break this book out, take a short piece of paracord, and you can sit in a recliner, watch a football game, and learn how to tie knots all at the same time. 3 good books to have on hand. Highly recommend that everybody get a copy of it. And that concludes the next section of part 2 of the video. Hello, everybody. Here we are for the next section on here. I put all four of these books together because they walk hand in hand with each other. The Elite Forces Handbook of Combat, Unarmed Combat. It teaches you form, techniques, tactics, and doing hand-to-hand combat to disarm an opponent and be able to eliminate that opponent and put him down so that you can get away. It's written by Ron Schillingford. It's a really good book, but with all unarmed combat, I would highly recommend that you find somebody experienced in it and let them work with you and show you the proper techniques and forms to do this kind of combat. Because if you've done it wrong, you'll hurt yourself very bad. The other one is Encyclopedia of Combat Techniques by Chris McNabb and Will Fowler. It's into close quarter weaponry, hand-to-hand combat, firearms and explosives. Don't do the explosives. You don't want to be in jail. And extreme terrain combat. Again, any of this, I would recommend finding somebody that has been trained in hand-to-hand combat, preferably one that has been an instructor in it, and let them show you everything there is to know about it. You need to learn the proper techniques, the proper form, so that you don't hurt yourself and mess up your body, which is easily done. So, good to know knowledge, but really you need to work with somebody that has done this, preferably as an instructor, and they can show you exactly the proper techniques and form. The last two that I think goes with this is endurance techniques and mental and physical endurance. Both of these are walk hand in hand with hand-to-hand combat because of the fact you've got to have endurance. You've got to be able to last longer than your opponent does. You want to whittle him down little by little until he can't go any further. And then you can get the upper hand on him. If you ain't got the endurance, both mentally and physically, he's going to whittle you down, and then you're going to wind up on the losing end of the deal. And I guarantee you, it's going to be a losing end you don't want, because he's going to take you completely out of the equation. You're not even going to be around to worry about what happens afterwards. So you need to work on building your endurance up, both mentally and physically, so that you can outlast the opponent, because that is a big part of hand-to-hand combat, is endurance, mental and physical. So something you might want to sit down and get and read up on and start practicing how to build your mental and physical endurance up, and read up on the forms of how things are done, and find you a good person that is well versed in hand-to-hand combat that can teach you the proper way to do it, the proper form, proper techniques, and all that, so you don't hurt yourself and then you're completely out of the fight all over again, or forever, probably. So, with that being said, that ends this section of the part 2 of the Prepper's Library, and we have one more book to go after this. Okay, people, here goes the last book for today. The Special Forces Guide to Escape and Invasion. This is a really good book. It goes through and takes you through as an aircraft pilot that is ejected due to a damaged aircraft. It talks about evading capture, conduct after capture, escape and captivity, hide and evasion, evasion and survival, and then the home run to get out and be safe. This goes through a lot of stuff in here. It gives you using survival as an acronym for size it up, use all senses, undue haste makes waste, remember your location, vanquish fear and panic, improvise, value living, act like the natives, live by wits, but for now, learn by basic skills. Teaches y'all how to evade capture, and it covers a lot of stuff. It talks about if you've got good enough, again, on eating plants, which I recommend you go find a course that teaches edible plants and learn from them, how to prepare them for cooking and eating. It gives you the universal edibility test, but again, I would go learn it from somebody with experience before doing it. How to make a solar still to get water. There's a lot of stuff in here. How to collect water, evasion and survival. How to build a hide, how to build shelters. There's a lot of good information in this book. How to blend in with the locals, how to escape from a camp, what to do, what not to do once you've been captured, what to say, what not to say. You got to prepare yourself psychologically for coercion. They talk about different torture techniques, and you can plan on that. Talks about interrogations. A whole lot of good information in here. So once again, I highly suggest you get a copy of Special Forces Guide to Escape and Evasion by Will Fowler and sit down and read it. Now, all of this stuff, I highly recommend that you talk or find somebody that can teach you this stuff and learn it the proper way. I really wouldn't just jump out there and do it on my own, not know exactly what you're doing. Some of this stuff, like the hand-to-hand combat stuff and things like that, if you're not careful and don't do the proper form and technique, you can hurt yourself really bad. So with that being said, for right now, that totally completes part 2 of the Prepper's Library. I may come back later when I get a series from the Professional Citizens Project and do a review on them. As always, get out in the woods, have fun, train, and as I always say, pay attention to detail and survive.